This is the final in the series of. All right, so this is about dreams, and one of the, i.e., one of the surest proofs that mental reality exists. Let me. Unlike, that was a dramatic click. Unlike most reality, mental reality is generally not observable. The hell am I doing? Oh yeah, the grate. It's over there. And I have this terrible setup today. So okay. So most mental disorders are like, oh yeah, I know what's going on there. Or no, I mean most regular disorders and mental disorders too. You know, the extreme ones. You can usually see what everybody has this terrible museum of horrors that is depicting like these extreme mental problems, but that isn't then very good proof that mental reality exists. One of the oh my goodness, talk about mental. This guy here. So I'm doing apple cake with carrot cake, but the secret ingredient is apples. The carrots are already out. Okay, peeling. Okay, we got our steps. So dreams are. I've already kind of gone over this a bit, but they're very uninteresting they are interesting, but that is not what's relevant to psychology. See, this is what matters. But we start here with, and the dream work is what Freud refers to as this. So I think I already proved with errors and with something else. Oh, and the fact that people like immediately agree with it, that the dream usually it'll like represent something about oneself. And yeah, so there's some agreement about it once the conclusion is reached. So that's one proof. But and the technique is called free association. That's how you that's what you do with this. And so free associating and like an analysis would be going in this direction. But the dream work itself is a mental tendencies, mental occurrence. The dream work is a process that works by some various mechanisms that give some insight into what is in the person, what the person's psychology is, because psychology isn't like just what you remember or stuff like that. It's about how does this work, or how does this work, or anyway. So people have this apple is messed up. People have some latent ideas, and then there's tendencies of the psychology. Obviously, like some of it is already existing, some of it's biochemical. So, like if you have and then some of it is contextual. So you may be able to be like, oh yeah, this is really a gross-looking apple, which is why it's cooking it up. Where's the carrot? Oh my gosh, I really haven't even gotten into it, but yeah. So how does it get from there to there? Oh, this is still from going in that direction. So you have a dream idea. Um, let's say you dream of a rabbit. Okay, so there's your idea. Oh my gosh, can't believe I'm doing the. Can I do something else? Anything else? Okay, no. First thing, that's the number one rule of free associating. The first one is always right. And so you ask the person, okay, what does this dream, the dream content mean? Because we aren't interested in that. But what is it, what do you associate it with? And then the first thing that comes to mind was what is in your latent mind. And that's what was unconscious in the dream, and for a seminal reason, it came up in your dream as a rabbit. And so the first thing that came to my mind was animal. So that's my latent idea. But yeah, there's a lot of them. But in the process of I wish I could do something other than rabbit, but oh, no wonder I'm thinking of rabbits. It's a slow one today. That's good though. Maybe before these videos I should go for a jog, or no, I don't do that. That was a joke. Bad joke. Some people really like running around. Okay. So look at this magician here. Ta-da! I'll put this over here. Don't need those. Okay, so there's different ways that the latent thing gets distorted. So, for example, oh my gosh, I really want. I was dreaming of a carrot, but really I was wanting to have a rabbit or something. But anyway, you get the idea. So, or there's fragments. You get like a fragment of it. You think this is really fun. I like hopping around. Oh, that's like a rabbit. So I have my real. I should do a real one. Whatever. Instead of a made-up dream. I mean, that would be a cool dream, though. Oh, okay. So usually the illusion of the dream. Wow, there's a lot of apples here. Oh, too many apples. I'll just have to put it in the fridge for later. So that's usually bits and pieces of what's actually there. Oh, so yeah, diabetes. That's what I was really going for here. So the cool thing, okay, so now at this time, Freud decides, okay, I'm going to talk about children all of a sudden. I think children dreams are a very good example, because you see how complex all that got? With a child, it's very simple. Children are not complex, and their dreams are not complex, and yet they're still a dream. So that's proof that they have a mental mind going on. The child's dream is most commonly in the form of a wish fulfillment. The idea is they have some unfulfilled, some wish that they had during the day. In their dream, they have anxiety while they're sleeping, and so then they have a wish fulfillment dream. Maybe in their dream, they actually went to the window and they ate the pie. So children are very simpler, and their latent mind is pretty much the same thing as their dream content. And the dream work just is basically taking it, making it a hallucination, and then it is visual and all this, and then they have their dream content. So it's so what? I mean, there's no sewing here. It's very, the child's dream works like that for to keep. What the hell is this? Oh, that was a mistake? Oh, that was another kind of way that the dream works. But yeah, so basically, like, yeah, child's dreams are a good example because they don't involve all this different kinds of the dream work. One of the most common, so when you're awake, there's kinds of censorship as well. And this occurs quite often whilst the person is doing the dream, they're doing the dream analysis, and they're doing the free associating. And when there's a resistance or some kind of censorship, that means, or when there's a high level of distortion within the dream work, that means that's a big, like, part of their psychology. And there's a lot of resistance there. So, what are the kinds of censorship in a dream? I like the accent, because sometimes it'll be like, wow, that's, I don't know why that's so dramatic, but I guess that's a big part of my psychology. And that's a crow and the shiny thing. The roundabout, you can't really see it, or can you? You're just like, oh, well, I know what that is, but you went this roundabout way and you wrapped it all up. Really nice. Thank you. And then, but the most famous of Freud's is his symbol work. He did a lot of work with the symbols, and they're sexual, because he's mostly dealing with sick people, and so the neuroses calls disorders, so it's the neuroses that, so there's various kinds, but I'm looking for sugar. And, but the point being, that symbol is also part of it, and he said like 99% of the time when it's a symbol, it's sexual, and it's almost, I can't remember the word he used, some kind of like, he learned to expect it, but here's a house. I mean, he could fill the whole book with this. In fact, when you're doing the real dream analysis, the actual analysis can fill like a whole book, like one, just to figure out one little neurosis, one psychotic person's dream can fill like an entire book practically, literally, not practically. Oh, but this is a house, and I like the house symbol. It's funny because you're like, well, he goes on and on about all the different kinds of symbols that you can have, but women are usually like enclosed and like nesting and stuff, and then whereas men are usually like doing something. And so the house, but ironically, like, if you're falling out of a house in your dream and you like try to grab onto the wall, that's like a woman is thing that you're grabbing onto on the wall. I don't really get it personally, but okay. So here are the kinds of the dream work that can happen besides censorship. Well, actually, including censorship, because that's a kind of it's a kind of something. But yeah, you can see that the dream may be condensed eggs. That's kind of gross. You gotta leave it to soak. So all dreams have some form of a dream work going on, even the child's dream, and usually it's condensed. It's not like some long drawn out dream. It's visual. There's displacement. So like, why is she there sitting in the middle of the road? And then, oh darn, it's supposed to be. Anyway, that's absurd. They're all absurd. So that's very fine and dandy, and when you do like 1,000 of these dreams, supposedly you come across these are good ways of understanding the dream, and that's pretty much it. But the person who's doing the psychoanalysis will need to keep a couple things in mind besides the basic thing that he's observing. First of all, he may be wrong, but you got to stick with it, and no matter what, go with the first instinct, because that's like the breakthrough. Usually you have a person who's sitting there really ill, and or maybe not, but they don't want to change, and all of a sudden they tell you one thing, and that's pretty much the basis of the entire rest of your relationship with this client. And when you're interpreting the dream, you have to keep it simple, and also remember that you might be wrong, but most of the time, and when you're doing all this, like when you were thinking about displacing stuff, and wow, I feel really small right now. I just looked at myself and I was like, wow, he looks really small over there. I look a lot bigger when I'm doing this. Okay. So let's say that you had a condensed dream, and I'm going to do a real one, because this is for me. I'm doing this for me. Oh, oh no, that was a bad dream. I don't want to do a nightmare. I don't even remember half of these. Can't even read it anymore. That's kind of cool though. I was dreaming of like some stuff and in a bus. I said I dreamt I was in a bus. I have to read that. Maybe you got to get a system going, and it's good to start doing it because you realize like you got to write a little bit better, or maybe. Anyway, I think that it would be better to do the dream analysis and figure out all the dream work and latent thoughts and all that the day after, because this is like I can't even read it anymore, and I can remember the hallucinations, but okay, that's it.